Oh hi, it's Bukai, and welcome to a brand new series on idle research. Now, I was given this game for free in terms of early access by the developer, and it's been a quite little fun game so far from what I've been playing. So here's a brand new start. You can check out this game in the description below. There's a free demo that you can download and try out as well, but it is limited, unfortunately. However, it's understandable because this game is still currently under development. So the premises of the game is fairly simple. You're going to be clicking to research some flasks and getting different colored flasks in order to keep getting more and more energy. You need to keep your energy up to power overwhelming mode. And yep, it's a little bit of a small tutorial where it's going to go through and just keep clicking these flasks and keep clicking them in order to access them. It's a slow burner, but once you get through the tutorial, you reach the 1,000 to be able to get the +1. Make sure that you don't run into the tutorial bug where you actually unlock the next slot, then you have to wait till the 100,000. Yeah, I'm not speaking from experience on that one. Nope, not at all. Bukai would never speak from experience on that. But later on, you can unlock the actual automatic, which is what the red or the orange, blue, yellow, whatever color that is. Color's hard. As you can click on one of those and they will automatically start to activate your flasks as you go. It costs about 1,000 for your starter, and you can see that my next one will cost me 100,000. Eventually this will be no problem at all, and you're going to see that I am slowly getting closer to it. And we've unlocked the orange flasks. Now the orange flasks are going to help me to actually accelerate my actual red flasks in terms of how much production they make. So building up your orange flask is important, but if you look there, it actually costs me red flasks to produce. So you don't want to be producing too many of them, even though it makes you a lot of profit. But at the same time, you want to make a lot of them because they compound with your lower pieces. So this game has a bit of a action economy balancing, but you absolutely can run a deficit. So do not run a deficit and be very careful with that. So I open up the actual accelerator menu and I dump into the flask crafting speed. It's a good place to dump any of your excess energy if you're not trying to save up for something. And seeing as I'm actively playing and my next auto is going to cost me 1,000,000, I figured it's a good time to start hammering into the accelerators. Now the accelerators I find in the very early game, a bit of a mistake that I did was I didn't dump a lot of money into it early. You really should be dumping a lot of energy into your accelerators early, as the accelerators accelerate your progress. But there is a point where once you hit kind of mid-game where it's no longer profitable to be sitting on there and you're better off spending it elsewhere or even pooling. But I keep going back and forth between them, clicking on my orange flasks. And I've unlocked the yellow flask now, which the yellow flask will compound my orange flask, which will compound my red flask. And as you can see there, I'm running a deficit. So minus 3.9%, which means that, or minus 3.9 per second of these orange flasks, or red flasks. And that means that I need to balance this out. But I'm going to be gambling for a bit, where I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to actually hemorrhage for a bit of the orange flasks and just build this up. I'm seeing if this is going to be profitable, because considering I want to build up the yellow flasks as much as possible to start. And as you can see, I'm already at like 20 million on our energy, which 304 per second, I should be dumping into the accelerators. Just dumping into the flash creation speed, dumping. There's no point in saving up to the 100 million, because you can manage clicking two things. It's not too difficult. One important thing to note inside of this game, though, if you do end up picking it up, is that the game really accelerates a lot faster if you just leave it running. Like, 12 minutes of active play is worth about 12 hours of AFK. It's just insane, the difference in price. So in terms of this game being an idle, technically it's an idle, but I would more call it closer to cookie clicker or call it closer to an incremental game. So I've unlocked the flask research speed, which if you saw a bit earlier in the video, you could see me going into the research tab. Every time you unlock a new flask, you have to have X amount of the previous flask unlocked, and then you also would have to have an X amount of time. Now, these times can start to skyrocket pretty fast, where they start costing into the hundreds of thousands, into the millions and billions of seconds. You're not going to be able to reduce these costs until you can actually reduce the accelerators and just hammer down on them. At the beginning, it's not that important. Later on, it's huge, especially if you start doing chain ascensions. So there we go. I've now unlocked the next auto, and the next auto after that is 1 billion energy. I'm not hitting that anytime soon, so I'm just going to be having to click on this individual one yellow, but it's going to keep increasing my costs, and I can't sustain yellow yet, as I've got to go down to building up more of my actual red flasks. But then my orange flasks are so low, and they are actually running at a deficit, even though it's not showing me on the actual tabs, because that tab is only showing your active or your auto crafting. It's just a little thing to keep in note that I am running a deficit of the actual orange flasks, and as long as I keep producing these, it's not going to help. What I really should be doing is going back over here and increasing my flask crafting count, as well as going into my flask crafting speed. I really should be just sitting there and hammering both of them. And you can see here that the yellow flasks are producing 3.5 times the speed of my actual orange flasks, which keep compounding down. So you really do want to have a massive supply of the next chain, of the next link down the line. And I'm just going to be sitting on the auto clicking and just increasing my flask crafting counts until I can get that to 2x, as that will help produce and get me out of this deficit, and then eventually boost into the flask crafting speed. So I'm just sitting there just spam clicking and annoying every single person around me. And there we go. We are slowly climbing up, slowly but surely. And you can see there we're at 26.84 until this thing goes through, giving us an additional 1.9. That is where the real money comes in. And there we go. We are now at 1.979. Oh, come on, keep going. You got 15 more clicks. Probably only 15 more seconds. There's not too much to go on that. And plus 43. There we go. 2.34. Nice. And that is now getting us up to 1 million a second, which is a pretty good spot to start off with. 1 million energy. That means 100 seconds on there, and I can get the next flask slot, which probably shouldn't be investing in. I probably should just be keep hammering down on the accelerator and clicking to activate the flask, because the flask is only activated once every 17 seconds. It's a pretty slow flask at the start. And as a result, I could just sit here and just hammering up the actual flask creation speed, as that is probably more important than the actual flask crafting count. But alas, they're both important. Now, if you guys have been enjoying this video and you would like to see more, just don't hesitate to give me a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. And with that, take care, everyone.